we're going to try this one more time. I am to try number 4, and for some reason my internet keeps cutting out. You know how that is, right? I talked to the boss upstairs. His is not cutting in and out. Lucky for me, it's just mine. So I am going to give myself a minute and make sure this goes before I start telling you all the fantastic things I have to tell you. And making sure it's actually live where it's supposed to be. Because when I check in, I should have, like, here, I'm going to put my hand right here so because there's 4 stars. Where I don't have anything, everything looks the same. Because I started with my desk. I wanted you to see what was going on here on my desk this morning. I've really been busy trying to show you some things. I'm excited about the catalog and everything that's going on. So I wanted to show you fun things. Okay, so it says I'm actually on and I haven't been cut off. So here we go, friends. I have a new catalog. I'm excited about it. I have my tea. This is Strongman tea. When we had the Strongman competitors at our house years ago, when they came and joined us, they said my tea wasn't strong enough. So they brought me tea the next time. So I have English breakfast tea brought to me by Strongman, which is funny that they would think that I needed certain teas to make the world a better place. So here's my tea. It's fantastic. It makes me a nicer person, which I like a lot. Okay, so let me show you what I have here. I'm super excited. I did my unboxing. These come to my house tomorrow, friends. So if you need one and you live close by, guess what? You can come get it tomorrow. Just message me, email me, or whatever, and I will let you know when they arrive. Normally it's sometime in the afternoon. So as I've been perusing this, I got to place my first order. Stampin' Up! Gives us a limited selection of what we can order. I may have also placed a second order. I'm just saying, maybe. But one of the things I like to do is kind of spread out my papers and see what I can do. This is the sun prints. It's like one of the coordinating things that go with sun prints. I like this paper. This is our pearlized paper. You don't get to order all of the embellishments, so I was like pulling out things that I thought would work. And this is that sheer pool party ribbon that's a carryover, and it looks really pretty on this paper. It made a beautiful bow here. This is the pearlized paper. This is Coastal Cabana. I loved the way it, super fun. I still haven't decorated the inside. Again, I was just playing. The sea glass works great on this paper. It's got those neutral colors, and it works beautiful on this paper. I thought it looked, you can see I added a little sea glass. Pretty. Okay, so that's these. This is the coordinating paper to the sun prints. It's actually called Pretty Prints, and I loved it. What I liked about it was the colors. The colors are just beautiful. I put my papers on a board like this. So I've been taking my papers, I open the package, I add strips of all the papers, and then the coordinating cardstock. So this gives me a good idea of what's in the paper pack. I didn't feel like I could do that with this one because they're also different. You get 3 sheets of the same color, but each one is a different pattern. And that's one side, but then when you flip it to the other side, I mean, it's so pretty. I just couldn't decide. And that's the paper I used on the card on this card. That's the pretty paper that I used. I just couldn't put it on one of these sheets. But I loved it. And the colors in it, I'll tell you the colors. Oh, this is the fern folder in foil paper. We like the fern folder. And it's called Pretty Prints, but the colors in it are Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss, Coastal, Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Evening Evergreen, Gorgeous Grape, Petal Pink, Rich Razzleberries, Shaded Spruce, Soft Seafoam, Soft Succulent, and Sweet Sorbet. So when I pulled this out, these green colors to pick what color cardstock, I held it up to lots of different colors. If I was going to use this, I really liked it with the spruce. This was pretty with the soft seafoam. Stampin' Up! Does such a great job. So this was my play with the stamp set. I tried to limit myself to one stamp set, but then I kept pulling out other things. So I'll show you some more with the sun prints, but this is the Hues of Happiness. Look at all the colors of cardstock it goes with. So this is the florals from the Hues of Happiness. And it's really pretty to play with. Then this one of my friends dubbed it the wallpaper paper because it's so shimmery. You have to order this just so you can touch and feel it in person. It's an inexpensive item. I think it's $5. So I just highly recommend you order it so that you can just touch and feel it and like it. It's really pretty. I haven't done anything with it yet. Again, I've put my second order in. I ordered some more of it. So when I start using it, I'll have some. This is the Perfectly Penciled. And it looks like it's all etched. And I can't wait to get my blends in color. I spent a lot of time doing this kind of stuff yesterday, organizing my stuff, after I got back from the MacBook store. Again, I got to go talk to them about my MacBook. We weren't friends. We were struggling. So I told the poor kid when I called to make my appointment, if you have a MacBook and you go to the MacBook store, you have to make appointments, and it's just... So I called the kid and I said, I have gremlins. And he goes, I've never heard that. What does that mean? I said, well, it means I made up the word. Sorry. He was trying to legitimately figure out what a gremlin was. Okay, so I'll show you kind of how I played with these a little bit. I got out, you can tell I ran a bunch of them through the die cut machine because I just wanted several different images because all of them come out of these dies. There's some great dies. And then the stamp set had some really natural prints. So I need to make sure I put this back in here. Because I pulled out some of my retired stuff. I've lost my papers, which makes me crazy. Who knows what I did with them. Then this is the Nature's Prints stamp set. Love the change of the fonts. It's got some pretty fonts. So I made this card. I embossed some soft suede with this pretty fern. I ran a spot over it just to distinguish it a little bit more. These are all those pieces that I ran through. There is a wreath that I did with some vellum. It was just kind of a hard card to see. This is the gray granite, no, basic gray, and I embossed in white on it. There's some mossy back here. So this one I just thought was hard to see because the colors were so soft. So again, I kept playing with it. This one, I wanted to do the strips like I did on the sheet to show you all the cardstock. And so I took all my sheets and put it on a piece of cardstock. I ran it through the impression folder to give it texture. And it's really textured. Again, this is one that's hard to see, but it's got some great texture. So I'm going to add some words to that. I haven't decided which ones or how I'm going to finish that card, but this is the one that got started that I haven't finished. And then this is the one I'm going to show you today. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can show this to you. So this is the one I'm going to show you today. Oops, that's kind of close. Okay, let me show you how I put this card together. I also wanted to show you, when you get new stamp pads, if you don't know this, this is our Sweet Sorbet. On the back, Stampin' Up! Gives us these labels. And so this is how I put together my stamp pads. I'll take this label off. Sometimes they all pull off, sometimes just some of them. I have this, there's lots of strips, and I don't need to know whether it's English or whatever it is. I'm just looking for the color. So I'm going to put one back here. This says Sweet Sorbet. Did I call it soft a minute ago? Who knows? It's right there. And then this one. Goes in here. So when my stamp pad's open, I can see what it is. And then I have some extras if I need to put any other labels on. But don't forget those are back there so you know that you can label it. So when I slide it in my case, I can see what it is. So there's the labels. That's your tip and trick for the day, right? Okay, so for this card, I took Night of Navy. And I just split it in half. I wanted you to see how pretty this vellum was. So this is the Fern 3D embossing folder. When you run the vellum through, it's beautiful. It's always a challenge of to how you're going to stick your vellum down, and everybody does it different. I kind of decide where I'm going to put my images, and then I know that's where I'm going to put my adhesive. And I know I have images going here, so I'm just going to put that right there. So there's my pretty fern right there. And then I have all of these that I ran through, stamped and kind of ran through the embossing folder. This other one I used the gray granite. Here is, I think this is Pear Pizzazz. And as I ran it through, it shifted a little bit. So I'm going to show you kind of what I did to get this on here. It shifted when I ran it through, and that happens sometimes. So sometimes I'll go in and trim it. I'm going to trim this one because I wanted to cut these two apart. I'm going to cut apart some of these leaves, just a little more than what the die did. And sometimes I'll go back and run my image through a folder just to texture it, because I'm a big texture fan. And sometimes I'll take my bone folder, which has a Wonder Basement charm. If you ever want charms on your bone folders, just let me know and I'll send you to the Wonder Basement. And I'm just going to manipulate this. And if you think that this looks extra beautiful, it's because I did go over it with some Wink of Stella. I kind of wanted my images to sparkle a little bit. So I just took my Wink of Stella and just went over those leaves. So now I've manipulated this so it's a little more 3D, which I like a lot. And so then when I do that, I'll put some seal in one spot. I'll put some glue dots. Oh my gosh, where do they start? There's one. In some places. I'm going to put a glue dot right up there in the middle. And then I'll take some of my dimensionals. I don't necessarily put them at the end. I want them kind of in the middle of the shape that I've created, because I want it to look very, again, 3D. So then I'm going to put this right on here. So this is going to be a little flatter, then that's going to be a little more raised. So I definitely have some texture to my image. So I have the texture of this folder and the texture of this right there. Okay, I need a drink. I've already been talking too much this morning. I'm still behind on my sleep from watching the basketball game Monday night. I mean, who starts a basketball game at 9:20? I'm too old for that. So we had to stay up and watch the whole thing. It was too close. Okay, so then I made some of these. And because I always try to make the cards just a little bit different than the other one that I did, I am going to add some of these, and I'm just going to stick them under here with a glue dot. I could put a little Tombow under. I could do all kinds of things. I'm going to stick that out there. I'm going to put, again, I could use a little fine tip glue. I can use whatever I want, and so can you. Everybody has their own adhesives that they like best. Here's another one of those cute little images. I'm going to stick him on and under. Stick him under here. So now I've added a little bit more interest to the front of my card. The image that comes, the tagged image that comes in that stamp set is really nice because it has an edge to it. Can you see that little edge? It's got a little indentation, so it's not a flat tag. I've got, here's the big fern that I used, and I want to shade my image just a little bit. So I am going to take this, and I'm stamping it off a couple of times because I want it real light on this tag. So I just want a little bit of that on my tag. Then I'm going to take my Night of Navy and add my hello there right to the center. So I have my hello there right in the middle. So I have my tag now that I want to put on here. But before I put it on, I want to show you one of the things that I like to do. If it's white, it still feels a little white to me. I will take my Stampin' Right marker, and we have lines, fat tip, thin tip. And I will take my marker and just go around and highlight that edge so it almost looks like there's another color cardstock behind there. And so you can see the difference. I'm going to stop right there. It's very subtle. So you can see this one has the dark edge, and then you can kind of see where it stops. I'm going to finish and go all the way around. And so when I complete this, this is going to add a couple dimensionals to the back, and this is when I kind of look at it and go, I need more embellishments from the new stuff. I don't really. I mean, I have plenty. But I'm going to stick this on right there. And I liked it. But then I wanted some ribbon. And there's a couple of different ones I can use. This is also a neutral. This is that soft succulent sheer ribbon, in color ribbon from last year. I can go back and use this Pool Party like I did on the other one. So I could use the succulent, I could use the Pool Party, or we have this pretty shimmering gray granite that I could use. So I think I'm going to use the succulent. And what I like to do is I like to fold it over just like this. And then sometimes I'll twist it and tuck it underneath with a couple of glue dots. But I think what I'm going to do, because it's a hard call of which ribbon I want to use. I'm going to take this gray granite and tie it in the middle. I wish I knew why. You know what? I probably don't want to know why my computer wasn't cooperating this morning and it took 4 times for me to get this started. I mean, they're just gremlins, like that poor Apple kid. He's like, I don't know what that term is. And I go, well, it's the things that take over your computer. He goes, oh. I'm going to tuck that under there. Now that's going to make this go down in the front because I tucked something big. If that bothers you, put a dimensional there. If it doesn't, like me, there it is. Okay, friends, done. And a little bit different than this one. I trimmed the vellum on this one. I used a different color background and a different color ribbon, and I added the gray images on this one. But I like my dimensional leaf. Everything's so much prettier in person. That's why I like for you to come stamp at my house. If you want a catalog, you're just going to have to let me know because they're going to be here at my house tomorrow. We've got a lot going on as usual. Oh, there's my camera right in the middle of my... That's not very nice. I've heard... Oh, let's not go too close. You know, it's hard getting this all set up. And then I switch it all the time. But I've got these cards. I've got pretty paper. I'm going to work some more. My order will be here tomorrow. My next few things, which will add to my funness. Oh, I did another card. I wonder where that one is. Oh, well, I'll show you. I'll be back here tomorrow or Friday. And so I'll show you again. Because I played with the tea set, which is really cute. Again, I can't show you the inside of the catalog, but I can give you one. My club friends, just so you know, I'll be taking the catalogs tomorrow to get spiral bound. So you have to wait a couple of extra days, but you'll get a spiral bound catalog if you're in club. And I will mail that on, sometimes it takes a day. So maybe Monday before I get back the catalogs, but on Monday I'll mail yours to you. It'll be spiral bound, and then you'll also get your April Club. So super fun. Can't wait. All right, friends, have a great day. Thanks for joining me. I'll look at comments now. You know that's not my friend, is to look at the comments. I have found when I'm shutting this off, I do weird things. So I'm going to make sure I switch it back so you're looking at the cards and not me doing weird things as I turn this off. All right. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.